All right, y'all. We got first of all, shout out to Chillin' Scares. First of all, always produced the best video. I've been watching him for years, bro. I've been watching his content probably since like high school. Yeah, high school. So I mean, shout out to Chillin' Scares. But we got four most disturbing 911 confessions. Before we start, viewer discretion is advised for this video. Any suicidal thoughts? Hey, not my fault, not my problem. All right, let's go.
On November 7, 2014, a 911 dispatcher in Springfield, Tennessee picked up a call at 2:45 in the morning. The man on the other end sounded eerily calm and polite, which only made the horrifying confession he was about to make all the more unsettling.
Okay, what's going on?
Alright, this is what's happened.
Oh, Lord. It's about to be something wild.
I've been married 12 years. On the 4th, which would have been 2 nights ago at 4 a.m., I shot my wife in the temple of her head.
Ooh.
I thought I killed her. And I put her in the freezer out in the garage.
This was the voice of 45-year-old Joseph Parker, who had just confessed to taking the life of his 44-year-old wife named Samantha. If Joseph hadn't made this call himself, it could have been weeks, even months before the crime was discovered. You see, most of their neighbors described the couple as elusive. Joseph rarely spoke to anyone, and Samantha almost never left the house. They also spent no time in the yard, and their windows remained permanently covered at all times. So, without Joseph's confession, no one would have suspected that Samantha was missing. What puzzled the neighbors most was how completely out of the blue it felt. No one ever heard any arguments or fights between the couple, as they seemed to be living an ordinary, rather uneventful life. However, beneath the calm exterior, their marriage was starting to fall apart. It started when Joseph lost his long-standing job at the nearby Toyota dealership, and without a source of income, the bills started piling up. Missing mortgage payments also resulted in their house being marked for foreclosure. It's unclear if this financial stress was the only reason Joseph snapped on the day of their 12th anniversary, but it certainly was a major factor. He ended her life just as he described on November 4th and kept her in the garage freezer for 3 more days before dialing 911 and admitting to his crime. That said, while increasing guilt could have played a part, the actual reason Joseph called was much more bizarre. According to him, Samantha was still somehow alive and conscious despite being shot in the head and spending 3 days in a freezer. He even described communicating with her through her blinking. The reason he called wasn't to turn himself in. Instead, he just wanted to ensure that she's taken to a hospital and saved before she passes away.
I thought I killed her. And I put her in the freezer out in the garage. Well, I checked on her tonight. She's not dead.
What the fuck?
She's got a big hole in the temple of her head.
What the fuck? Bro, he shot her temple. Shot her right here. Right here. You know when you get shot right here, it goes through your brain, right? She's still alive, bro. She got a gunshot through her head, through her brain, getting frozen, and she's still alive.
And to get her body moved around in there, I think I broke her wrist. You know, she was frozen from being in the thing. She's been in the thing 48 hours. You know. This is no train call. I need somebody to get out there and help her out. And you'll see her once you get in the garage. And she's a mess. She can't talk. I could get her to blink once, blink yes, blink twice, blink no. And, so I told her, I'm going to go around the road 10, 15 miles. I'm going to call 911 and get you some help out of here. I thought she'd been dead 2 days. And when I checked on her, she was still alive. She's been frozen. For 2 days, she's frozen solid. It's amazing she's still alive.
He refused to give any information about what caused him to do this, and also made it clear that he had no intentions of getting arrested. He was apparently driving away from the home when he dialed 911. He also claimed to have left the home unlocked so officers would have an easy time getting in, before ending the call with a declaration of his love for his presumably still alive wife, stating,
"I love her. I still love her.
No, you don't.
I've loved her every day I've been married to her.
No,
We
you
just had a
don't.
rough stretch here."
No,
by
no,
the
you
time
don't.
officers arrived at his
No, you
address,
don't. If
Joseph
you gotta take somebody's life, you don't love them. You feel me? No, let me shut up. I ain't about to let y'all in my personal life. You thought you were gonna get something out of me.
himself was nowhere to be found. They cautiously entered the garage and found the freezer he had described. However, its contents were far more gruesome than he had revealed. Joseph had partially dismembered Samantha's remains so they could fit in a small freezer. Analyzing them also made it clear that she was indeed dead and had been for multiple days. Put simply, Joseph seeing her blink was nothing more than a delusion, one he possibly developed as a coping mechanism for what he had done. This also meant that he was mentally unstable and likely had a firearm on him, making him a danger to anyone who crossed his path. This resulted in him becoming a part of Tennessee's top 10 most wanted list, with a team of investigators working every second to find his location. After successfully pinging his cell phone and searching for many more hours, Joseph was spotted driving south on the I-24 highway at around 3:24 p.m. Officers rushed to his location and after a short pursuit managed to pull him over. But before they could apprehend Joseph, he decided to turn his firearm on himself, ending everything and escaping the consequences of his heinous actions against Samantha.
Dang, bruh. That's wild, bro. RIP to her, man. You feel me? I don't know their situation. I don't know. Like we said, we don't get no answers because they both gone. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Take care of y'all mental health, man, for real. Before we go through the rest of this video, just take care of your health, bro, for real. Like, communicate, bro. Communicate. It's all about communication.
On the morning of January 7, 2007, the Vancouver, Washington Police Department received one of the most bizarre 911 calls in the state's history.
911, how may I help you?
I'm Dylan Peterson, and I just killed 2 people.
Who did you kill?
Matthew Nagel and Mrs. Nagel, I guess.
At around 7 a.m., a 25-year-old Dylan Peterson...
25? Holy shit, bro. Life is kicking your ass. You 25? Bro, you a year older than me? Bro, life is kicking your ass, bro. Jesus. Bro, you need some sort of like vacation, some like therapy. You need something, bro. But you look like you about 35 to 40, bro.
And casually admitted to committing a double homicide. He sounded disinterested, almost bored while describing the details of what he did.
And how did you kill them?
With a knife.
Are they there too?
Not anymore.
Where are they at?
Well, they're here physically, but they're not here, spiritually.
Their bodies are there?
Yeah.
Just sounds sick.
Who are they to you?
Who are they to me?
Uh-huh.
No one.
At the same time, he also had the tone of someone seeking attention and validation for their actions. Like when the dispatcher stayed calm and continued typical protocol through the process of gathering as much information as she could, Dylan started becoming audibly annoyed. He clearly wanted to talk more about what he did.
What? How do you spell your first name?
How do I spell my first? Dylan.
Dylan. And what's your middle initial, Dylan?
R.
And your date of birth?
Come on, I just killed 2 people.
As police would later find out, Dylan wasn't lying about the murders. The 2 people he killed were his friend Nick Nagel's 45-year-old mother Sandra and 15-year-old younger brother Matthew. Dylan was enrolled at the Western Culinary Institute in Portland and was renting a room with the Nagel family while he attended college. As he described the situation on his confession call, one thing became clear. Dylan had no intention of running away. However, one thing that remained vague till the very end was his motivation for committing this violent crime.
Man, these people let you into their
I
home,
can't
bro.
people. It's awful. Why did you kill them?
Why?
Uh-huh.
Why? Oh,
That's the question.
Come on. I killed 2 people.
I understand that,
You
Dylan.
got that?
Yes.
I killed 2 people. I
Okay.
killed them.
Why did you kill them?
Why?
Yes.
Because
Because why?
I was born to.
When officers
Life in prison without the possible. You know what? Fuck that. Death penalty. Death penalty. Hang him up.
arrived at the scene, they found Dylan near the front door, just as he mentioned on the call. They instructed him to come out of the house with his hands above his head, and he complied without saying a single word. He didn't resist arrest or say anything in defense. Inside, officers found the bloody remains of his 2 victims with signs of a struggle from both. Unfortunately, we'll likely never know what happened that day. Dylan later accepted a plea deal to avoid the death penalty in exchange for over 57 years in prison, all without ever talking about his motive or presenting any argument to justify his actions. From what we know, this was a random, tragic act of violence from a deeply mentally unwell man. The way he calmly confessed to everything without a shred of remorse bordered on psychopathy.
There are 2 people dead, and it's blood.
Why is he getting 50? Hold on, what the fuck? I'm gonna let it play, but why is he getting 57 years? He took 2 lives.
After I knew both of them were dead.
Mind you, bro 25, so 57 years, bro could technically still get out. Like, he'll be old as dirt, where bro can actually get out of jail for killing 2 people.
Just stopped breathing. Poor Sandy.
That said, Dylan was never formally diagnosed.
Bro is 25. So 25. Hell no, hold on. Cause bro can still get out. 25 plus 57. Nigga, come on. 82. Yeah, so if he gets out, he'll be 82. But the fact he can even still get out, that's actually sick. The justice system actually like failed miserably, bro. 57 years is not enough. Bro, I'm telling you, if I ever became the president one day, bro, I'm making it a rule. If you take somebody's life, your life is going to get taken. Simple as that, bro. Simple as that. If you commit a murder, you're spending your life in jail. At the least.
On December 31st, 1980, the 911 dispatch center in St. Paul, Minnesota received an anonymous call about a potential murder at around 3
They be
a.m.
saying these places
The person
at-
on the other end
I ain't
sounds
never known
hysterical as they
existed.
described the situation.
St. Paul.
Yes, please, this is an emergency. Please send a squad to Pierce Thunder Road, Mountain Manufacturing Company, machine shop. Please, there's an ambulance too. There's a girl hurt there.
Can you tell me what happened here?
That's right, there's a chick laying on the ground in the back by the railroad tracks by the airfield.
Why you sound like that?
What's the address?
I don't know.
Who are you?
This almost sounded like a prank call, but when officers arrived at the provided location, they discovered 20-year-old Karen Poddock lying in the snow. She had extreme, repeated blunt force trauma to the head and was fully unconscious. The chances of her surviving were slim to none, but she was rushed to the hospital, and in what can only be described as a miracle, Karen actually managed to recover and resume normal life.
Oh, wow.
Though at the cost of some permanent brain damage and loss of her memories surrounding what happened. If that anonymous caller hadn't reached out for help, she likely would have passed away before anyone else found her. However, what seemed like an act of kindness by a good Samaritan concealed a far darker truth below the surface. It wasn't until June 1981 that this truth began to emerge, when the same person with the hysterical voice called again with a very straightforward confession.
Oh, wow.
Finally, I just stabbed somebody with an axe pick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody.
30 minutes later, a group of kids discovered human
Wow.
remains hidden in a bush while playing in Minneapolis, the neighboring city to St. Paul. This turned out to be an 18-year-old student named Kimberly Compton, who just moved to Minneapolis that same day to start a new life. Sadly,
Oh my god. The same day you moved? That's, bro. That's, man, oh my God, dude. Imagine you move to a new city as a little kid to start over, you know what I'm saying? Go to a new school, make new friends. And that same day, someone takes your life, bro. That same day, you didn't even got a chance to experience life.
By the time officers arrived at the scene, it was already too late. A later autopsy report revealed that she had 61 stab wounds across her body, highlighting the sheer cruelty of the
He broke a
act.
world
All of
record.
these wounds were also inflicted with an ice pick, pretty much confirming that the person who called half an hour earlier was the one who did this to Kimberly. The top priority right now was to figure out who this person was. This revelation also made investigators rethink the Karen incident. Could it be that this killer was the one who attacked her as well, and only called because he thought Karen was for sure dead? Fortunately, they didn't have to wonder for long, because just a few days later, the potential killer called again.
Don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton. I couldn't help it. Don't know why I didn't stab her.
Dude, this dude is a fucking school, bro.
I keep getting touched by a dream. I can't believe I did a big dream. I can't think of being locked up. If I get locked up on myself, I'd rather myself to get locked up. I'll try not to kill anybody else.
This call almost made him sound remorseful of his actions. However, as investigators would later find out, this was nothing more than an act to seem more innocent than he actually was. Things stayed calm for over a year, until another woman's remains were discovered along the banks of the Mississippi River on the 6th of August, 1982.
Wait a second, wait, hold on, bro. So you telling me, hold on. So you telling me, bro called one time for a crime, acting as a witness. Okay. He calls again. This time admitting that, you know, he harmed somebody in this spot, whatever. The third time, he admits to that crime a couple days later. Why is he not arrested? Why did we not throw out a full search party? What do you mean another body was found, bro? How do we not arrest this dude? Am I missing something here? Do I just not understand the laws or the rules of the justice system, bro? Because how do we not try to hunt down a mass killer and an unstable person? Bro, it's like the justice system literally wants to see, like, despair and death. They'll pull out a full SWAT team to go SWAT a streamer like Kai or like Kai Sinat. I say Kai, not Kaya. I didn't mean to do that. Like Kai or I don't know, Platboy Max or somebody like that. They'll stream it. I mean, they'll pull up with a full 50-man SWAT team. But when it's time to right here, when it's time to track down a mass killer who's stabbing niggas with toothpicks, you don't want to go swat him. I've given up on the justice system, bro. I honestly don't respect nobody that works in the justice system. Like, bro, it's crazy, bro.
He had similar ice pick stab wounds to Kimberly.
It's crazy,
and had
bro.
likely been floating in the river for at least a day. This turned out to be 40-year-old Barbara Simmons. A postal worker found her purse in a post box near the river, allowing investigators to identify her remains. That lead then took them to a bar where Barbara was seen talking to a man before leaving with him on her last day. After talking to eyewitnesses, this man was identified as 38-year-old Paul Michael Stefani, a St. Paul resident. Investigators began monitoring Paul for evidence while also releasing recordings of his calls to news networks, so that someone who knew him would come forward with a tip. The media dubbed him the weepy-voiced killer due to his distinct tone on calls, though apprehending him continued to prove difficult. Investigators needed some solid evidence, or at least probable cause, to make their first move. Luckily,
Am I missing something here, bro? Like, there's no point in you getting worked up. Like, bro, he killed 3 people. He confessed that he killed 3 people. He confessed, hey, I killed them. I stabbed them. Where's the rest of the evidence that you need 5 more bodies to lie up on your conscience before we arrest him?
Paul provided that opportunity himself on August 21 when he tried to lure in and attack 21-year-old Denise Williams, but Denise managed to successfully fight back. She ended up injuring Paul and escaped with the help of a passing stranger. On the other hand, he returned home and tried to call an ambulance for himself, and that's when his luck ran out. The emergency dispatcher recognized his voice from the news segments, resulting in a police car showing up right beside the ambulance and arresting Paul on the spot. He stood trial in 1983, and while he managed to evade any charges for Karen and Kimberly due to insufficient evidence, he was charged with the murder of Barbara and the attempted murder of Denise. Paul was eventually convicted on both counts and sentenced to 58 years in prison. But that's not where his story ended. You see, Paul found out that he was dying of cancer in 1997 and had only a few more months to live at best. So, in a move no one saw coming, he not only confessed to the Karen and Kimberly cases, but also named a 5th victim that the police didn't even know about, 33-year-old Kathleen Greening. He eventually died in June 1998, marking the end of the weepy-voiced killer.
Good. This dude, bro, honestly, I'm not watching it. Well, I am. I actually want to see this video. But, yeah. Bro, that's disgusting, bro. Like, this dude right here, bro. Hold on, bro, I hope he's burning hot in hell right now, bro. I hope they are getting him back for all them crimes he committed and more, bro. That's ridiculous. Obviously, he's at fault. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish anything good upon him. I wish him nothing but an eternity of hell and suffering. But, bro, like, the justice system, bro, we gotta do better, man. We got to. We so worried about stopping people for one little bud of weed. We so worried about making sure people take off their ski masks. We so worried about people sagging their pants and AI. We so worried about AI and technology. Bro, we got killers out here shooting. Like, we got people with bodies, bro. We just letting them out on bond, giving them like 10 years. Bro, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, what are we really doing, bro?
The end of the weepy.
Like, are we really trying to save lives, or are we just doing it because it's our job? You know what I mean?
On the morning of December 9, 2010, police in Naples, Florida received a heartbreaking 911 call from a 14-year-old boy desperately seeking help.
Okay, what is your name? Alex. Alex.
Bro, sound like he's about 14.
Okay, my parents were shot.
Your what?
My parents were shot.
Your parents were shot?
Yeah.
It's straight on, okay? How old are you?
14.
Hey, guessed it right.
This was an all-around terrible situation to be in. But here's the thing. Alex's parents weren't shot by an intruder or something along those lines. In a shocking twist, Alex claimed that he was the one who shot his own parents. However, he also claimed that it wasn't on purpose and that he did it in his sleep. According to him, he woke up in his parents' bedroom with a firearm in his hand and both parents bleeding in the bathroom.
What?
Who shot your parents?
I did.
You did?
Hold on.
Okay, stand in line with me, okay? Okay. Get you some help.
Hold on.
How did this happen, sweetie?
No.
You don't know?
There ain't no way. There ain't no way.
Okay. Is there anyone else gonna help with you, sweetie? Huh? Okay.
The dispatcher then gathered as much as she could, while also instructing him to go outside and wait for the officers to arrive. The call lasted about 10 more minutes, during which Alex stayed adamant that he didn't know how it all happened. He also tried calling out to his parents multiple times, but they weren't responding. Aside from tragic, the whole situation was extremely bizarre, something that would stay a part of this case as it moved forward. The officers arrived just before 9 p.m. and immediately rushed inside to check up on Alex's parents, 40-year-old Thomas and 39-year-old Kelly. Sadly, both of them had passed away by that point. They had a single gunshot wound each, and the firearm was in the bathroom with them. Alex was taken into custody and was later charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. He was also tried as an adult, resulting in him getting sentenced to 20 years in prison, with the earliest possible release in August 2028. However, despite pleading no contest to the charges, Alex never changed his story. So, what happened here? Did he actually shoot his parents while sleepwalking? Well, it's unlikely. Reports of people committing heinous crimes while sleepwalking aren't exactly new and date all the way back to the mid-1800s. However, none of these cases included any real evidence to prove the sleepwalking claim. Examining them closely shows that they were essentially hoaxes the criminals created to avoid accountability for their heinous actions. This is obviously not to say that sleepwalking isn't a real thing. It most certainly is, and people suffering from it can do some fairly complex-looking tasks. However, almost all of these tasks are a part of that person's daily routine, like brushing their teeth, dressing up for work, eating, and in some rare cases, even driving while still asleep. But in Alex's case, he somehow found his way into his parents' bedroom, located the firearm in the closet, loaded it, perfectly aimed at, and shot both parents individually before waking up. This is simply too complex of a task to perform while sleepwalking. Not to mention the fact that Alex had no history of a sleep disorder prior to this incident. Another oversight in this explanation is how both of his parents were conveniently in the bathroom together when it all went down. There was also a small chance of an external influence, like someone older somehow convincing Alex into ending the lives of his own parents. But from what I was able to find, the investigators found no clues pointing in that direction. This leaves the most obvious and also the most likely theory, that Alex did this due to how his parents were treating him. During the trial, he went through psychological evaluation twice, and while the full results were never made public, Alex's attorney claimed that what drove him to kill his parents was
a psychological component that doctors have identified, which does not excuse criminal conduct, but helps explain it.
It doesn't confirm anything outright, but it does suggest that Alex may have had a plausible motivation. An interview with a neighbor also provided more insight into their day-to-day lives, with them describing Alex's parents as controlling. They also mentioned an incident where Alex got in trouble for lying, stealing, and trying to run away from home, and how it ended with Alex being grounded inside the home for a long time. However, many neighbors questioned by investigators also argued that this was normal parental behavior and that nothing they did crossed the line. So, while the theory that Alex committed the crime as an act of revenge is the most plausible, there is still little evidence to support it. The only one who knows the truth of what really happened that morning is Alex himself, and I doubt he'll come clean now after already being sentenced and with so much time having passed.
First of all, you know what? I ain't even got nothing else to say except justice system is like complete dog water shit, bro. This dude done murdered 2 of his parents, bro. And probably, he's lying about his confession. And then bro gets 20 years, bro. Bro's gonna get out in his 30s for killing 2 of his parents. Just let that sink in. I'm not gonna bring race into it and all that. You feel me? It ain't always about race. I'm not bringing race into it, but like the justice system just failed in general. However y'all want to take that, y'all can take it, but they failed miserably. You give a murderer 20 years so he can get out in his 30s and go commit the same damn acts. Man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man. All links in the description. Till next time, bro. We out.